A massive car bomb exploded outside of a large federal building in downtown Oklahoma City, shattering that building.
The chaos in downtown Oklahoma City did indeed resemble Beirut after what police believe to be a 1,200-pound car bomb ripped through the 9-story federal building.
Terrorism is ideologically motivated violence.
In Beirut, Lebanon today, a pickup truck loaded with explosives drove to the American embassy, and there was a tremendous explosion there during the lunch hour.
There needs to be some sort of belief system behind the violence.
The death toll here rose today to 22 when a gunman opened fire in this Walmart store just right here.
And you're trying to instill fear in society or change government policy. Once again, here we are with another mass shooting in America that's been perpetrated by a white nationalist.
The El Paso incident is now the 7th deadliest mass shooting in the nation's history.
In fact, there have been more arrests and deaths in the United States caused by domestic terrorists than international terrorists in recent years.
Back in 2009, I wrote a report about the rise of right-wing extremism with the combination of the unprecedented election of an African-American president coupled with the downturn in the economy just created this fertile ground for recruiting extremists into the far-right movements. We all thought we had done a great service to the country and sent out this prescient warning. So it was a big surprise when I came to the office on Monday and saw my report all over the conservative news.
The Department of Homeland Security, Dr. Dobson, is warning law enforcement officials about the rise in right-wing extremist activity.
Isn't it interesting that the media has jumped all over this when there aren't any examples of it? There are no Timothy McVeighs out there right now. They're making a big deal out of something that hasn't happened and may not happen.
Supporters of reproductive rights are mourning the killing of the abortion provider, Dr. George Tiller.
It is a balding male with glasses may have gone inside with a gun and there were shots fired.
An investigation is underway in Colorado following a deadly attack on a Planned Parenthood facility.
A Wednesday night Bible study erupts in gunshots. At the scene, 8 are pronounced dead, 6 females, 2 males. Another man dies later in the hospital.
I do consider myself a white supremacist, sure.
So when we have Democrats in power, typically the far right gets very agitated because they're fearful of minority rights being expanded. They're also fearful of pending gun legislation or an outright gun ban. What makes this unique is the fact that we have a Republican administration, and yet these far right groups are still operating at a very heightened level. This goes against all the trending data that I've looked at in the past 40 years.
Far-right attacks in Europe jumped 43% between 2016 and 2017. In the U.S., right-wing extremists were linked to at least 50 murders last year. That's a 35% increase over 2017.
The reason why it's different this time is going back to the 2016 presidential election. The president started dehumanizing his opponents. When he got elected, he started dehumanizing the media.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are.
Democrats, people of color, people that are of the Muslim faith, even immigrants, using terms like invaders and rodents.
What's happening right now as a large group of people, they call it a caravan. That is an assault on our country. That's an assault.
It feeds right into these extremist narratives who've been doing that for decades. And Trump has actually mainstreamed some of their ideas. Things like a border wall, things like travel ban on Muslims, mass deportation of immigrants.
The wall would stop it, okay? The wall would stop it. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that stuff.
These were themes that I saw on KKK and neo-Nazi websites 15 years ago, and now they're being put forth as policy.
Only in the panhandle.
This threat got ahead of us. It's grown year after year for the past decade.
You're saying that AME was charged with domestic terrorism, Dylan Roof.
So you're using the word charge. So as I said before, there's no domestic terrorism charge like 18 U.S.C. 2339 A, B, C, D for a foreign terrorist organization.
Is white supremacy not a global issue?
It is a global issue.
So why are they not charged with foreign
Because the United States Congress doesn't have a statute for us support domestic terrorism like we do on a foreign terrorist organization like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab.
Having such a statute would give investigators an extra tool in the toolbox to add penalty enhancements, which may be a deterrent to some people. The internet is a force multiplier. It enables people in the privacy of their homes to connect with like-minded individuals. This leads to more emboldened radical activities. People are basically copycatting other extremist attacks throughout the world here in America. If we're determined today to stop this threat, it's going to take years to slow down the momentum and growth of these movements. We need to make a decision now that we're going to draw a line in the sand and do what we can to stem this tide of hate.